All right, Fresh. Let's go to the game of the week. This is routinely one of the best games in college football. I is this a rivalry? I consider it a rivalry game, but I
Oh,
don't know how it's viewed by them. Or is it as big of a rivalry game? And I think it's bigger maybe to LSU.
it's a hatred. I mean, both schools are on fall break, but I think LSU is definitely for more of them. Alabama focuses more on Auburn, but it's a rivalry.
All right. Well, we're going to down to Tuscaloosa, Bryant Denny Stadium. The LSU Tigers. They're 6-2 on the year, 4-1 in the SEC West. Alabama, the Crimson Tide, 7-1. People have really kind of gotten off their bandwagon early, but like you said, you only win the games, win them how you can win them, and they're 7-1. You take a look; they're in that West and kind of have control of their own destiny. This is another thing. Alabama wins this football game, and they really have full control of the West because they've already beat Ole Miss on the season. So this is a big one because whoever wins this winds up in that driver's seat for going to Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, you alluded to right there. The loss basically eliminates LSU from the conversation. So they're in desperation mode right now. The win creates a crazy kind of three-way tie. Bama, LSU, Ole Miss all have that one SEC loss if they come out. And you have the Bama beat Ole Miss beat LSU, and if LSU beats Bama, the weird combination there. I mean, if LSU wins, you got Florida and A&M left. Who knows? Those games that could go up either way. But Bama, if they win, you got Kentucky and Auburn. You are set up, clean, moving forward. Somehow Nick Saban's done it again. And then I think Ole Miss has the trouble one because they have A&M this week, and then Georgia, and then Mississippi State. So it definitely plays into Alabama's favor of if you can come out and just muck it up, play your solid defense, and get the win. You're in Atlanta. You're actually boosting your playoff resume potential, and it just sort of sets up there again. Nick Saban in the conversation coming late November, like we always have seen for the past almost 18, 20 years feels like. It's you will you the monster. Hey, being Halloween, the monsters are never dead. You always think they're dead, and they're never dead. And here's Saban. He's the monster to most teams right now. Most schools across the country. His team still has a pulse, and they're still hunting. And you have a chance of basically knocking them out. Can Brian Kelly? Can you win two in a row? Can you go into Tuscaloosa where they've barely won ever? LSU has, and find a way to get it done. This is something that there's a lot of little subplots and storylines. There's only one team to score more than 21 points on Alabama, and that was Texas. That shows how good this defense has been. They've been locking people down. They are not letting games get carried away from them. They are just grinding away, playing to the strength of their football team, and letting their offense sort of just get through it and score. They're not getting blown out. They're not getting torched. They have played great defense. Now, with that said, LSU's offense is absolutely in fuego. Daniels is a lot more athletic than any quarterback they're going to face all season right now. Kid can run, kid can throw, receivers catching balls. LSU has the best offense in the nation in total yards per game with 552 and the third best passing attack with 339. They're going to put it all out. They're going to air it all over Bryant Denny. Can Alabama's defense show up and get to the quarterback and just tackle in space and limit the big plays? That's going to be the biggest deal right now. If this was the 2019 LSU, Alabama, and Alabama had an offense to compete with it, we might be able to see a shootout. Alabama doesn't have the offense. They cannot get in a shootout in the situation and seem like they're going to survive. Milroe, that team is not built to score 40 points in a blink of an eye. They're going to have to run the ball, hit Burton here and there, McClellan, run the football, manage the down and distance, and kill the clock. That's how this is going to be a slow, ugly football game if Alabama's going to win. If they get a track meet, it is over. That LSU offense is too good. Bama's offense has shown improvement. They've kind of sort of found something, but they haven't gotten that wow game yet we want to see where, Milroe's throwing for 4 touchdowns and they're putting up 40. They're putting up, 27, 28, sort of just get it done. If they come out on fire, it'll be amazing. It'll be something shocked. They'll be hiding it. They had a bye week to get ready, but I think they're going to come out focusing on old school Alabama. We're going to play defense. We're going to run the football, and we are going to get after Daniels and force him into mistakes. kind of do what FSU did in the second half, where they completely shut down the receivers and they brought the pass rush and they took out LSU's offense. That's what Nick Saban and this Bama defense has got to do, and the crowd's got to be there. And I got to tell you, after last year's loss, that crowd is going to be amped. It's not going to just be a normal game. Kind of feel like when they had Tennessee. There was a little extra energy in the building when they played Tennessee a few weeks ago. And I got a feeling we're going to see that on Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. They're going to be ready to bring it. They're going to run the football. Milrow, keep them out of mistakes, keep them at a long down and distance, and avoid the shootout. And you keep yourself in the football game. LSU has allowed at least 31 points in 4 of their 8 games. If you remove their 72-10 win over Grambling and their 62-0 win over Army, the point totals are 245 to 202, or an average score of 40.8 to 33.6. LSU's defense is horrible. This actually might help if Alabama's looking for an offensive outburst. This might be the game, but I don't think they're going to be able to score 40 on LSU. They have to be able to play some defense in this football game, but there are opportunities for this Alabama offense to get points on the board, get behind that secondary, and make plays. Will they attack it deep? Will they manage it? Will they play a little bigger? Who knows what this offense is going to do? I think it's a chance, though, for Tommy Rees and that offense to really maybe add a couple wrinkles, take a couple deep shots, use Jermaine Burton a little bit, use a little play action, help them out. They're going to have to score some touchdowns. You can't keep settling for field goals against LSU. If they can score some touchdowns early, put some pressure on it, let the pass rush get after Daniels, they're in great shape. If that LSU offense comes out and starts putting touchdowns on the board, I don't think that play action game from Alabama, that running game, is going to be able to keep up with them. And that's the biggest key. There are points to be had against LSU's defense, but how you dictate the game and how you play it from an Alabama perspective is going to be the big factor. In the end, I can't go against Nick Saban. His team has been coached and they've gotten better and better and better. I think their defense does just enough and they show up. Alabama wins 31-28 on a game-winning last-second field goal and keeps their playoff hopes alive, keeps their SEC title hopes alive, and Brian Kelly sent back to the drawing board with another loss.
Fresh, Nick Saban is just turned 72 years old. His birthday is Halloween.
Young buck.
He is a young buck. And hopefully we can all look that good at 72 years old as well. Fresh. But Nick Saban reminds me of another one of my favorite people of all time, and that is the 17-time world champion Ric Flair. And Ric Flair always, whenever you thought he was down, whenever you thought he was beaten, Ric Flair was the dirtiest player in the game. To be the man, and you've heard me say it on this podcast multiple times, to be the man, you got to beat the man. That's a Ric Flair quote. Alabama is going to take LSU on a ride on Space Mountain. They're going to be wilding, styling, profiling all the way down because that LSU defense is terrible. This is exactly what Alabama needs. They need a team like LSU, a team that is respected enough in the committee's eyes. It's a team that that's considered an offensive juggernaut, and for them to come into Tuscaloosa. Let's quiet your offense down. Let's really kind of expose you to as the fraud that you are. Brian Kelly pulled a fast one on Nick Saban last year. Aha, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Nick Saban's not going to let that happen. Dallas Turner's having a great year. We talked earlier in the show about Latu, and then we got to talk about Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner was kind of sitting in Will Anderson's shadow all last year, but he's been this phenomenal linebacker for them. Chris Braswell as well. There, you take a look at him. The two of them, 14.5 sacks on the game. This Alabama defense is nasty. They're attacking, and they're going to give Jaden Daniels all sorts of problems. 29 sacks on the year. They're going to get after the quarterback. Now, LSU. You got a lot to play for in this game. Driver's seat, get a back-to-back trip to Atlanta. I don't know if that's going to happen, but back-to-back trip to Atlanta is kind of what's on the table here. Jaden Daniels, you have a ton to play for in this game. You are having an opportunity to rewrite the story of your career here. And yeah, we talked a long time ago, many moons ago. Fresh and I did a space on the X, formerly known as Twitter, and we talked about Arizona State football, and we talked specifically about Jaden Daniels and how he kind of was left Arizona State not on the best of terms, and then he gets to LSU. He's played well at LSU, not great, but he's played very, very well. This year he's playing electric, and they have an argument for him for the Heisman. If he wants to be considered with Penix, with Jordan Travis, with Marvin Harrison Jr., with all those Caleb Williams, all those studs who are set up for the Heisman, this is the game. He balls out against this Alabama Crimson Tide defense, and Jaden Daniels can have an opportunity. Logan Diggs, you're going to need to do your part. You want to take a look. Malik Neighbors, you're going to have to do your part. Kid's almost got 1,000 yards. Brian Thomas Jr., you're going to need to do your part. Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup for this Alabama defense. We are going to know how legit this Alabama defense is. If Alabama shuts down this, if it gets early, and let's say Alabama first half score, it's 10-7. LSU's up on you 10-7. Alabama's win this football game. Because you have limited LSU's offense. This is going to be an opportunity for Alabama, and I don't think Alabama's only going to have 7 points against LSU. This defense isn't going to stop anyone. Jace McKellen sounds like a fine Scotch, well-aged. I don't know how old this kid is, but he's like a 20-year-old, 19-year-old age Scotch there. I think he's going to run all over. He's going to follow up that game they had versus Tennessee. I think he's going to run all over LSU. I think Jalen Milroe is going to have one of his best games of the season. We're going to go back and look at this game and say, is this the get-right game where Alabama's offense kind of really starts to show themselves? Flex their muscle, go finish out the rest of their SEC West schedule, and start to really pay attention, get geared up for Atlanta. Fresh right now, the spread is Alabama 3. That is the home field advantage right there. They're saying that these two teams are evenly matched. I say nay. I say this is not an evenly matched game. I'm sitting there. Listen, Fresh. I got an opportunity once to meet Ric Flair in a airport Chili's in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it was awesome. One of the nicest people I've ever met. I hope someday that I get to meet Nick Saban in an airport Chili's. I'll share some chips and queso with the man. Maybe order the guy a margarita. I'm not picking against Nick Saban. I'm going with the Tide in this game. I'm going in this Tide in this game. I'm going to go big time in this game. Alabama, 2-touchdown win in this game. I am going really big in this game.
Wow. So you're basically saying the LSU season's officially over at about midnight daylight savings when the whole time change hits on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Like it's just done. Like game over.
Yeah, no, I think the minute they lost to Ole Miss, we talked about this at the beginning of the season. You know, Alabama or LSU could have afforded to lose to Florida State because of everything that they had in front of them. LSU wins against the minute they lost to Ole Miss. It took out every real chance they have. I mean, who have they beaten? They beat Missouri in a shootout there. Again, Missouri doesn't have the defense that the Tide has. They beat an Auburn team. I've let my thoughts known on what I think of Auburn this year. Army is Army. You know, I support everything that they do over there in with the Knights of Army right there. But come on, they're not going to keep up with LSU here. I don't think much of them. I really don't. And you got to play. LSU is known for their defense, and the fact that Brian Kelly is like, we're going to be a pure offensive team. I think if I'm an LSU booster, I'm like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
You have Harold Perkins coming in, and he has been non-existent all season. Mason Smith had his issue. He's not doing anything on the front line. Wingo's not doing much. The guys, they have three legit players in that front seven who have been absolutely non-existent for LSU, and they've been getting run around 24/7.
Right.
And LSU defensive backs are always some of the best in the country, and I can't name you one right now who's actually done anything special.
Right. And maybe, hey, you guys, listen, save the video. Save this video that you're watching, and you can come back if we're wrong on LSU. Tell us. That's fine. We can take it.
We're grown men.
Yeah.
We're 40. Well, almost.
Almost. I'm getting close to theirs than you are, Fresh. All right, folks. Well, you've been listening to another episode of the Irrational Confidence Podcast. Before you leave, hit that subscribe button up there. Help us out. It helps support the channel. It's a free way to support the channel. We appreciate every single time that you guys hit that subscribe button. So please help us out with that. Hit the notification bell. Get notified every single time we drop a new episode. Whether or not you like the full episodes and listening to every single game that we're going to talk about during the college football week, or if you like going through and checking out on the YouTube all the individual games, liking to watch the 10, 12-minute videos there, depends on which type you like. Hey, either way, they're good for me. And special thanks to our producer, Drew. He joined us in our college football playoff prediction poll. Thanks to him. Without him, none of this is possible. He's the man working behind the board. Make sure you're visiting spinnablesports.com. Yep, that is spinnablesports.com, because the Irrational Confidence Podcast is part of spinnablesports.com. And follow us on Twitter, the X, whatever it's called these days. Like, subscribe, wherever you get your podcast from. And we're in week 10. We're barreling down to rivalry week, the biggest week of the season. And we got rivalry games already started. November, all month long, is rivalry week.
Everybody, cherish the football. Cherish the football. We got Maction on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You got games on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays.
Maction.
Cherish all the football we got, because it's tough to think that football season, we're past the halfway mark. Enjoy it while we still got it. Love every minute. Love every play. And keep chugging forward toward those title games.
All right, Fresh.